Hi dear students, welcome to physics online classes. So today we have to start with our first chapter, electric charges and fields. So before directly entering into the chapter, in our second PUC prescribed by that PU board with the reference of that NCERT text, we have totally 14 chapters. So the first chapter, electric charges and fields, which is the most important chapter for board examination as well as for NEET as well as Karnataka CET. For board examination, we can expect nearly 10 to 11 marks, and for NEET, along with this first chapter, we have the second chapter, electrostatic potential and capacitance. So collectively, the first and second chapter, they are considered to be the first unit, that is electrostatics, where we can expect minimum of 2 and maximum of 3 questions for our NEET examination as well as KCET examination. So one of the most important chapter, that is electric charges and fields. This is our first chapter. Okay, so let us have the brief introduction related to this chapter, electric charges and fields. So in this chapter, first we must know about the concepts of electric charge. What makes the object to be charged, and we are going to study the types or the methods of charging a body. We are going to study the properties of the charges. After studying the properties of the charges, we have to think of the electric field concept. We must use the electric field lines for the representation of the electric field around the point charge as well as the like and unlike charges, and we must use that for representation of the field lines of a dipole. Later we are going to know what is the meaning of that dipole. We must study the definition of that dipole moment. It is very important, and we are going to derive the expressions for electric field due to that dipole along its axis, that is called the axial line, and we are going to find the electric field of that dipole on the vertical axis, that is called equatorial line, and we are going to derive one of the important derivation, that is the force experienced by the dipole when it is placed in a uniform electric field. So next to the concepts of that dipole, we are going to study the concepts of the distribution of the charges. We are going to study next to the concepts of the distribution of the charges. We must study the concepts of electric flux. Finally, we are going to study the Gauss law and the applications of the Gauss law. So totally we have 3 applications based on the distribution of the charges, but one of the application has been deleted, so we left with 2 applications of that Gauss law. So this is the brief introduction of the chapter, and now let us understand what is the meaning of this electric charge. So we are studying this first chapter under the unit electrostatics. So first we must understand what is electrostatics. Electro, obviously it is related to some charge. Static, so in our lower classes we are going to study about the word statics, that is to be in the state of rest, isn't it? So electrostatics means it is a branch of physics which deals with the study of charges which are at rest, which are in the state of rest. So when the charges are in the state of rest, they are going to produce some electric field, they are going to produce some forces. We are going to study the concepts of electric potential, and all these concepts we are studying under the common heading, that is electrostatics, the branch of physics which deals with the study of the charges which are in the state of rest. So now we must first understand electric charge concept. What is this electric charge? When we can call it has been charged? So for better understanding the concepts of electric charge, we must initially think of the basic things what we have already learnt in our lower classes, that is the concepts of the atom. So before directly going into the atom, we were observing all the substances around us, just that is matter. What this matter is made up of, or what these particles are made up of? These particles are made up of molecules. What is the composition of this molecule? The molecule is made up of atom. Then we already know that this atom consisting of three constituents, that is nothing but the proton, neutron and electron. We already studied the structures and everything related to the atom. So just I am going to consider that. Let us have the atom where the entire positive charge is concentrated at the center, and we are calling that as a nucleus. So in this nucleus we are going to have the proton and neutron, where proton is positively charged, neutron is neutral, it doesn't possesses any charge. Then around that nucleus we are going to have stationary orbitals. In these stationary orbitals, the electrons are revolving. So the core of the atom is called nucleus. And nucleus ಒಳಗಡೆ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ positively charged proton ಇರುತ್ತೆ, chargeless, that is neutral particle neutron ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಸುತ್ತ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಸ್ಟೇಷನರಿ ಆರ್ಬಿಟಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ the electrons are revolving. Why these electrons are revolving around the nucleus means they have some affinity, they have some attractive power with respect to that positively charged nucleus. So ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಯಾಕೆ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ we don't have any proof or explanations particularly, it is just the sign convention we are following. So universally we have to consider if it is an electron, it is negatively charged particle, it is its nature. If it is proton, it must be a positively charged particle. If we have neutron with us, it doesn't possess any charge, we can say it is neutral. Okay, so here we are discussing the concepts of negative charge, positive charge, and one thing we have to observe, if we consider the atom, we can say the atom is electrically neutral. Even though we are observing that the positive charge is at the center, that is called nucleus, and here the electrons are revolving around that nucleus in stationary orbits, how we can say the atom is neutral? Because the number of electrons which are possessing negative charge will be same as the number of the protons which is possessing the positive charge. Then the positive and negative, they will get cancelled, so we can say it is electrically neutral. So this is very important. If any atom is neutral means we can't say it doesn't possess any charge. It is neutral because it has equal magnitude of negative charge and positive charge. So the net effect of that charge becomes zero, isn't it? So here we are repeatedly using positive charge, negative charge, and now we have to understand what is this charge and how the origin of the charge takes place. So just we can feel that if we are going to sit in a plastic chair, our hairs will be attracted towards that chair. If we are going to comb our dry hair, and after that let us take that comb near to the small pieces of paper. You only perform these experiments at home, easily available all the ingredients, and after combing the dry hair, if we take that comb near to the small pieces of the paper, we can observe that small pieces of paper will be gets attracted by the comb. So with these examples we can move on to the concepts of electric charge. Before combing, the same comb will not react with any of the paper pieces, but after combing the dry hair, the same comb is going to attract some of the paper pieces. What makes the comb to attract the paper pieces. That is nothing but, now we can say, the comb has acquired some of the charge. The comb has acquired some of the charge. So it has lost its neutrality. If it is neutral, means it has equal number of positive charges and equal number of negative charges. Repeatedly I am saying positive and negative, that is just our conventional considerations. So proton andre ಅದರ ನೇಚರ್, ಅದನ್ನ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ತಗೊಂತೀವಿ. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿರ್ತಾವೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರ್ತವೆ, ಅವಾಗ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಿದು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇಫ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು comb our hair, these electrons which are having the less affinity, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಸೊ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ electrons revolve ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತವೆ stationary orbits ಅಲ್ಲಿ, and with the help of that knowledge of the chemistry what we have studied in our earlier classes, we know that we can fill particular number of electrons in the particular shell, isn't it? So I am going to focus on the electron present in the outermost orbit, and we can observe the affinity of this outermost electron with the nucleus. ಈ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಶೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಈ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಫಿನಿಟಿನ ಹೊಂದಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋರ್. ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ we are able to remove this electron by supplying energy in any of the form, so ಈ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅಫಿನಿಟಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಹೊಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಾವು ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ atom, and now this is going to lose its neutrality. So ಈ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ನ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಇದರ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಾಲಿಟಿನ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್. ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಈ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಇಂದ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಟಮ್ ಇಂದ, we are going to study our fundamental definition, that is electric charge. So ನಾವು ತಲೆ ಬಾಚ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತಹ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ between that comb and the small pieces of paper. Just you only observe that experimentation. Okay, so after combing the dry hair, it should not be wet, it must be dry. After combing the dry hair, the same comb is attracting the dust particles, or it is attracting a small pieces of paper. So now we can say it has the property of attracting the lighter particles, or the lighter particles may experience some attractive force. Now we can say they are charged particles. They are considered to be charged particles. So with this we are moving on to the definition of that electric charge. Now ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ it should lose its neutrality. It should lose its neutrality. So ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ electric charge, it is a property developed in particle of material because of which they exerts and experiences the electrical force. So ಈಗ small pieces of paper ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಡಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು, it is experiencing some electrical force, or the comb is exerting some electrical force. So why that is exerting some force? Because now it has lost some of the electrons and now it becomes the charged body, and we can say that is the definition of electric charge. It is the property developed in particle of the materials because of which they exerts and experiences the electrical force. Because of that property they can exert or experience some electrical force, and that property is called as electric charge. Yes, so in this example we are calling that method of charging a body as a electrification. So here we are using one of the type of that electrification, that is electrification by the method of friction. Electrification by the method of friction. So one more important fundamental concepts here we have to understand, that is whatever we have observed, that is given long back by that Thales of Miletus. Thales of Miletus. What he has observed, this Thales of Miletus, he has observed that when amber is rubbed with silk or wool, so amber ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಮರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಟಿನ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ just we are getting that solidified gum material that is called amber. So ಈ ಮರದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಗಾಯ ಆದಾಗ ಅದಾದಾಗ ಸೊ ಅಂಟಿನ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಸಾಲಿಡಿಫೈ ಆದರೆ it becomes very hard and we are calling that as a amber. ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಆಂಬರ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಥ್ಯಾಲಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಿಲೆಟಸ್, he is going to rub that against the silk or wool. Okay. After rubbing, he observed that this amber can attract the dust particles or small pieces of paper. So he observed the property of attraction after rubbing. So this concepts of that electric charge is long back identified by Thales of Miletus. Okay, and if we focus on that, if any atom loses electrons, its positive charge becomes more, then we can say it is positively charged body. Because of that rubbing, some of the electrons have been transferred to another particle. That particle which receives the electrons or which gains the electrons will acquire negative charge. So we are going to have two kinds of charges. So Benjamin Franklin gave the names to the charges as positive and negative, because by the mathematical basis we can consider if number of electrons and number of protons were same, then we can say it is electrically neutral. So by the mathematical basis he just named the electrons as negative and the protons as positive. So Benjamin Franklin just named the two kinds of charges, positive charges as well as negative charges. So how many kinds of charges we have? Two kinds of charges, positive charges as well as negative charges. So as that Thales of Miletus observed, when amber is rubbed with silk or wool, it acquires the property of attracting the dust or the small pieces of paper. Like this we have several particles. That means we can rub the glass rod with the silk cloth, we can rub the amber with wool, we can rub the plastic rod with cat's fur. Some of them are losing the electrons. If they lose the electrons, they acquire the positive charges, and one among those particles will absorb the electron. If it absorbs the electron, then it acquires negative charge. So if we rub the glass rod with the silk cloth, the glass rod is acquiring positive charge, means the glass rod loses the electrons, and the silk cloth, by gaining the electrons, it acquires a negative charge. So let us have the example of this glass rod and silk cloth. Okay, so if the glass rod is rubbed with the silk cloth, and here I am considering the thread, and here we have the glass rod, and I am going to consider one more glass rod which is also rubbed with the silk cloth. If we brought the two glass rod which are rubbed against the silk cloth, we can feel they will move away from each other. The two glass rods will experience the repulsive force. So let us consider this is a glass rod, we have rubbed that with the silk cloth, and we have to consider one more glass rod that must also be rubbed against the silk cloth. Yes, so let us consider we have two glass rods rubbed against the silk cloth. If we brought the two glass rods near to each other, they are moving away from each other, means they are experiencing a repulsive force. They are experiencing a repulsive force. Let us observe one more observation. If the plastic rod is rubbed with cat's fur, the plastic rod is rubbed with cat's fur. So here also we have to consider two plastic rods which are rubbed against that cat's fur. After rubbing, so by one of the method of electrification, that is electrification by the method of friction, this plastic rod acquires negative charge. If we bring such two plastic rods near to each other, here also we are observing that two plastic rods will move away from each other. So let us consider this is the first plastic rod and this is the second plastic rod. Both the plastic rods, after rubbing against the cat's fur, they acquires negative charge. So this is negatively charged, this is negatively charged, so they are moving away from each other. So let us have one more observation. Let us take the glass rod which is rubbed against the silk cloth and the plastic rod which is rubbed against the cat's fur. So here it is the glass rod and it is the plastic rod. What is the nature of the glass rod when it is rubbed against silk cloth? It gains positive charge. By losing the electron, it acquires a positive charge. If the plastic rod is rubbed against the cat's fur, by gaining the electron, it acquires negative charge. So, if we brought the glass rod and plastic rod near to each other, they are going to move more closer to each other. They are moving very close to each other. That means they are experiencing attractive force. They are experiencing what kind of force? Attractive force. So, Cavendish is going to give his law, that is the fundamental law of electrostatics, that is Cavendish law of electrostatics. By these observations, he gave the law, that is the like charges repel. Like charges means the positive positive, the negative negative, because we observe that the two glass rods will move away from each other. If you brought two plastic rods closer, they will move away from each other. The like charges, like means both must be positive or both must be negative. The like charges will repel each other, and the unlike charges means one must be positive, the other one must be negative. So the unlike charges will attract each other. Very important law. This is a fundamental law of electrostatic given by that Cavendish, and we are calling it as a Cavendish law of electrostatics. So Benjamin Franklin coined the charges as positive and negative, and that Thales of Miletus, he first gave the property of the electrification, where he observed that amber is rubbed against that wool, that will acquire the property of attracting the dust or the small pieces of paper. That is electrification. So what is electrification means? The process of charging a body is called electrification. We have different methods of electrification. So what is electrification? The process of charging a body is called electrification. We must learn the types of electrification methods. So we have different methods for charging a body. Simply we are giving the definition of electrification, the process of charging a body, whether it may acquire positive charge or negative charge, that is none of our business. If it acquires a charge, that means we are charging a body. That method is called electrification. So initially we observed the first method, that is by rubbing, right? That is nothing but electrification by the method of rubbing, that is called friction. Electrification by friction. So after studying the definition of that electric charge, where we defined that as it is the property developed in particle of material because of which, because of that property that material acquires, it can exert and experience the electrical force. can exert the force or it can experience the electrical force. If and only if it is electric charge, it can exert or experience that electric force. Otherwise, it won't exert or experience the electric force. If it is a neutral, then it won't be able to exert or experience that electrical force. Then we came to know that we have two kinds of charges, positive and negative. So the property which differentiate the two charges as positive and negative, we are calling that as a polarity of charges. This is also very important. Polarity of charges means here we are differentiating the charges as positive and negative. That property of the charges we are calling them as a polarity of charges. Now it is very important to understand about a device which is helping us to detect the presence of charges and also helps us to know about the type of charge induced in the material, and that device is called electroscope. So now we have to study the concepts of electroscope. Yes, so now we have to study about the device which can give us the information about the charge present on a body as well as the polarity of the charge present on the body. As we already came to know about that polarity. Polarity ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಬಾಡಿನೋ ಅಥವಾ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಬಾಡಿನೋ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. That simple device is called gold leaf electroscope. So let us go through the definition of that. Gold leaf electroscope. It is a device used to detect the presence of electric charge on a body and its polarity. So ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಬಾಡಿ ಇದೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇದೇನೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಡಿವೈಸು, ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಯಾವ ಥರನಾದಂತಹ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಡಿವೈಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಲೀಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಸ್ಕೋಪ್. If we focus on the construction part of the gold leaf electroscope, it is having very simple construction. We can draw any of the diagrams. Okay. So here we are observing in the diagram two gold leaves which are attached to the lower end of a long vertical metallic rod. So we are taking a long metallic rod, to the lower end we are attaching the two gold leaves, and this metallic rod at the other end has got the metallic knob or the metallic disc, and these gold leaves are enclosed within that glass chamber or glass window which is connected to the lower end of the metal rod, and that metal rod is not in contact with the glass window where we are using that insulated rubber caulk. Okay, so this is the simple construction. So ಒಂದು ಮೆಟಾಲಿಕ್ ರಾಡ್ ತಗೊಂತೀವಿ, to the lower end we are attaching two gold leaves and this is placed within the glass chamber, and the top of that metallic rod is attached to the metallic knob or it may be the metallic disc. Now if we focus on the working of this gold leaf electroscope, let us consider we have charged body with us. So I am going to consider a positively charged body. So this is a positively charged body. Let us bring that positively charged body in contact with the gold leaf. That is, we have to touch that to the metallic knob. Already we know that metals, they will allow the charges to pass through them. So whatever the charge we have on the rod, it will be carried to the gold leaves. So our charged body na a metallic knob get touch ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ a metallic rod ಮೂಲಕ charges flow ಆಗಿ they reach the gold leaves. So now the two gold leaves, they acquire same charge of the rod. So they will start to repel each other. If the body is charged only, the gold leaves will repel, because already we know the Cavendish law, like charges will repel. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಟ್ಟು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಬಾಡಿನ ಮೆಟಾಲಿಕ್ ನಾಬಿಗೆ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಆ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಮೆಟಾಲಿಕ್ ರಾಡ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗಿ ದೇ ರೀಚಸ್ ದ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಟೂ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡೈವರ್ಜ್, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಅವೇ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್. If the magnitude of the charge on the body is more, the degree of divergence becomes more. ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಆ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ಡೈವರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ದ ಡೈವರ್ಜೆನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಇದೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ದ ಡೈವರ್ಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಷ್ಟು ಡೈವರ್ಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಎರಡು ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ದೂರ ದೂರ ಹೋಗ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ದ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ presence of charge. If there were no charges on that body, then gold leaves will remain as it is. They won't get diverge. Now the question arises, how we can identify the polarity? For identifying the polarity of the charged body, we have to consider the charged electroscope. Andre polarity find out ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ we must initially know the charge of the electroscope. So let us just consider we have positively charged electroscope with us. Now we are bringing one more body in contact with metallic knob. ಈಗ ನಾವು polarity ಮೇಲೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಈಗ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಇದನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಬಂದು ಮೆಟಾಲಿಕ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಮೆಟಾಲಿಕ್ ನಾಬ್ಗೆ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದ್ರೆ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ರೀಚ್ ದ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಪೊಲಾರಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್? ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಇಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್, ಸೊ ದ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್. In case if the body which we have brought in contact with metallic knob is also having same polarity of the charge, degree of divergence increases. ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ನಾವೀಗ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ನ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟಿಗೆ ತಂದ್ವಿ, ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ದ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ಡೈವರ್ಜೆನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಮೋರ್. ಸೊ ವಿಚ್ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಪೊಲಾರಿಟಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಸ್ಕೋಪ್ನ ಚಾರ್ಜು ಆ ಬಾಡಿದು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಎರಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ we have brought some object in contact with that metallic knob and already we have the charge on the electroscope, that is positive charge. If the leaf starts to converge, then we can say the charge on that body will be of opposite polarity. That means if the body is negatively charged, some of the negative charges will flow and reach one of the leaf. So this leaf is positively charged, this leaf is negatively charged, so they will come close to each other. So this is very important. In order to identify the polarity of the body, we have to make use of the charged electroscope. If the charge of the body and the electroscope are same, then degree of divergence increases. So we can decide the polarity of the body will be same as the polarity of the electroscope. In case if the gold leaf of charged electroscope starts converging, we can decide the polarity of that body will be opposite of that of the charge present on the electroscope. Take your own time to understand this, but make the things clear. To identify the polarity, we have to make use of the charged electroscope. So this is all about the definition, construction and working of the gold leaf electroscope. Very important concept. Next to the gold leaf electroscope, we are focusing on that electrification and the methods of electrification. So already we know about that electrification, right? The process of charging a body is called as electrification. And if we focus on the different methods of that electrification, we are observing that charging by a method of friction, charging by the method of conduction, charging by the method of induction. So this charging by the method of friction is applicable for both conductors as well as for insulators. But the two more methods what we have with us, that is charging a body by conduction and charging a body by induction, these two methods are applicable for conductors. They are not applicable for insulators, but charging by friction is applicable for both conductors and insulators. So what are conductors and insulators? Already we know the definitions, right? So conductors, they are the materials which allow the electric charges to pass through it freely. They are considered, we have very familiar example, all the metals are good conductors, isn't it? So we are directly considering good conductors are nothing but metals. The materials which allow the charges to pass through them freely, they are called conductors. So conductors can be charged by the method of friction, conduction as well as induction. Then what are insulators? They are the materials which does not allow the charges to pass through them freely. They are called insulators. They are bad conductors. Glass, plastic, all are bad conductors. So that kind of bad conductors can be charged only by the method of friction. Okay. So conductors and insulators. So in next session we can discuss in detail about the charging by friction, conduction as well as